Interesting, too, we played before the last break, Basil, listening to Joe Biden talk about this. And Biden often is the one who's out there talking about maybe we can work with Republicans on this, find common ground. He was drawing a very clear line there saying, no, on this one, you just have to beat them. And it occurs to me, this is Joe Biden who spent so much of this year on the defensive from sort of modern day progressive activists saying busing in the 70s, crime bill. This is the part of the crime bill that his fingerprints are the assault weapons ban back in 1994 that he can brag about in 2019 and get no blowback from the Democratic base.
That's true, and he should. And I agree with his sentiment because, as Beth said, and as we've all said, and I teach government, so I understand what the constraints are. But this is not a time for incrementalism. It's really a time for bold change. That's what's going to actually get the policy accomplished. But that's also going to energize the Democratic base. They don't want to see a lot of our presidential candidates saying, well, we have to water down the bill because, it won't get signed by the president and Mitch McConnell. I mean, that's not leadership. We need to show leadership. And I know that, folks like Lucy McBath and Cory Booker, who talks about gun licensing, which is very important to me. I'm probably the only one on this table that's actually been shot. So when you look at an issue like this and you see the lack of leadership on the side of Republicans, then I have to turn to my Democrats and say, you've got to be bold. You've got to put something forth that you can get Americans behind. And even though there are a lot of voters that agree on the issue, I don't know that there's agreement on the urgency when it drives voters to the polls. And that's what needs to change. That's the delta, to create the urgency around the issue that pushes them to the polls.
On the other side, it drives people to the polls, to your point.